Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.
Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies. I'm Steve Sparky Fifer. He is the lovely pumpkin, Gery Woelfel, our insider from the Racine Journal-Times.
A svelte pumpkin.
A svelte pumpkin, yeah. Time to talk a little bit about the Milwaukee Bucks, a special edition talking Bucks basketball. Why? Because it looks like Caron Butler is headed to the Milwaukee Bucks from the Phoenix Suns. But hey, Butler did get to put on the new Phoenix Suns jersey. He did get to model him for everybody in Phoenix. But he actually never even played in a game in Phoenix, having come there earlier in the year in another trade. So Butler comes to Milwaukee for Ish Smith. Sad to see him go. And the Russian guy they got from Detroit, Slava Kratsov or something like that.
Kratsov, yep.
So those two guys leave. No big loss there. Butler comes. Now Butler, I would assume, becomes a starting small forward for the Bucks.
You're a genius. Your insight is incredible. It just comes right in there and you're going to be the starting guy.
Better be.
Well, what do you think? The Greek Freak's going to start?
Better not be. Better not be.
What? You hope he doesn't start?
It's John Hammond. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea. I'm assuming that Caron Butler is going to start, yes.
No question about it. There isn't any doubt. None. Zero. Zilch.
Okay.
Nada.
So Butler comes...
What other words can I say?
Butler comes home.
Yes.
Nick Van Exel comes home. So are we the...
Sparky comes home to the Bucks.
Right. So, the Milwaukee Bucks basketball, your hometown team. I just...
You got a problem with that?
No, I don't have a problem with it. Everybody was on Twitter last night was asking me, well, Sparky, what do you think? What do you think? Because Gery Woelfel broke it first that Butler was headed back to the Milwaukee Bucks, like many of the other stories you broke throughout the offseason.
Hold it. I got to get out my checkbook. One second.
No. It's true. So with Butler coming back, what does this mean? Not much. All it means is that now you're a little bit closer to possibly being the 8th seed. I still don't know if they're good enough to be the 8th seed, but it puts you a step closer to where you were. You're better today with the trade than you were yesterday before the trade.
Oh, no question. And when I wrote my column this morning about this trade, one of the things I noted at the very end, Caron Butler is going to help him on the floor. I mean, the guy started 78 games last year for one of the best teams in the NBA. So the guy can play. There's still plenty of gas in his tank for at least 2-3 years. Having said that, I think Caron Butler's biggest contribution to the Bucks is going to be in that locker room. Last year, that locker room was just riddled with internal problems. And about a week or so ago, I talked to somebody that was a part of the circus, and he said, and this guy's been in the NBA probably about a dozen years, 15 years, whatever. He said, quote, the worst locker room he had ever been in. He said it was unbelievable. And I started naming guys, and he goes, yep. I mean, bad guys, right? Yep. Just right down the list. I mean, 5-6 guys right out of the chute. And fortunately for the Bucks, they got rid of most of them, if not all of them.
You know what's funny to me? Every year for like the last 3 or 4 years,
had bad acts?
I've heard from you, horrible locker room. Yeah,
it is.
Horrible locker room. Well, there's only one common denominator. The guy putting together these horrible locker rooms. At some point, as a general manager, you have to take chemistry into account for what you are doing. You just have to. If you have guys that have bad raps around the league, do your homework. Do the research and find out, dude, okay, he can score, but is he a bad act? Okay, yeah, he can rebound, or yeah, he can defend, but is he a bad act? Yeah, he's a nice veteran role player off the bench, but is he a bad act? I swear to God, Steven Jackson, Corey Maggette, go down the line of guys that everybody...
Drew Gooden, Sam Dale.
Everybody knew coming in were going to be issues, and yet we still do things. We give guys long-term deals. If Gooden was a guy that's a problem, you give him a long-term deal. That's the thing that irritates me.
Well,
it's one thing if you lose. It's another thing to lose and have bad locker room. And on top of that now you get the reputation around the league of, man, I want to play Milwaukee, man. Every time I talk to somebody that leaves Milwaukee, they tell me about how bad an experience it was. Forget the city and everything else. Now it's inside the locker room, the experience.
I can totally understand where you're coming from because I've been on the same page. I mean, I remember when they traded for Corey Maggette. I was out in Las Vegas at the NBA Summer League, and I was talking to somebody in the organization at that time, And he goes, man, I would walk him to Milwaukee, okay? Steven Jackson, the weeks leading up to the trade to the Bucks, I heard all these things about how he wanted a new contract. He was giving Charlotte all sorts of problems. And of course, and I'm sure the Bucks knew about his contract.
He's still out there.
So exactly. So yeah, your point is valid. The only thing I wouldn't throw darts totally at John Hammond, because Scott Skiles was part of that regime, and I think there was a feeling between Hammond and Skiles that Skiles was a strong enough coach that he could handle these guys, that these guys would not walk over him.
Because Skiles is a player-friendly coach. Right? Is that what you're going to try and sell me on?
No. I mean, that he's tough.
Right. And you're going to put tough with egomaniacs and go, hey, it'll work.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you. They should have never done it. And that's why I find bringing in Butler so refreshing. The guy has almost an impeccable reputation out there.
No, I got no issue. I'm just saying, in general, though, you say how bad the locker room was last year. That's my point. That has nothing to do with Butler.
Yeah.
But last year, having a bad locker room, we've had bad locker rooms now for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, one of the better stories I heard recently, though, about the locker room. You've been in the locker room for a Bucks game. Monte Ellis's locker room stall, is right next to Brandon Jennings. Supposedly, those two didn't talk to each other. If they did, it was very seldom. And the story I was told is that when Ellis was traded to the Bucks, Jennings was very upset that he would no longer be the man. The guy, correct. So Monte Ellis eventually reaches out to Jennings, waves the olive branch, right? Jennings wants nothing to do with it. So time goes on. Jennings decides, you know what, enough's enough. I'm going to wave the olive branch. Monte Ellis goes, nah.
I tried it once. You didn't want it.
Exactly. Right. These guys are right next to each other in the locker room, and you expect to have any kind of team chemistry?
No, I totally agree with you. And now you look at this Bucks basketball team with Caron Butler. How good are they? Yeah.
Again, what I was thinking about.
No, you're right. That's all you got to say. We'll just edit on that.
No, I'm not saying they're obviously not Chicago. They're not Brooklyn. They're not Miami.
No, just go in the division. Let's just stay in the division. Let's not even worry about the rest of the East.
Okay,
Let's just in the division.
Chicago and Indiana are definitely ahead of them.
Without question.
After that, and Cleveland, I think, is going to make a quantum leap. I agree. The Bynum deal, I talked to somebody the other day, and they said Bynum looks great. He's lost like 15, 20 pounds. And he's on the right path. So if he comes in there, they're going to be, pretty competitive. Then I think the Bucks. I think they're better than Detroit. I don't have any doubt about that.
I don't know.
You know what? And the other thing, we'll have plenty of time to talk about this down the road. But I think Indiana is still vastly overrated. I think everything fell into place for that team last year.
For 2 years in a row?
I think they're very, very. I think they're well coached and everything, but their talent level doesn't wow me.
And Vogel is a hell of a coach, and he doesn't get a lot of credit. But you're right, he's doing a nice job. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they make the playoffs or not coming up this year. But I will be honest in this aspect.
Yes,
I'm starting to get the itch for this season to get going.
There you go.
I am. I want to see how this is all going to work. I want to see if Brandon Knight gets any better than what I've seen. I want to see that. I want to see, does the Greek Freak play at all, or does he end up in the D League? I want to see that. And I want to see Larry Sanders. Can he do this year what he did last year?
Hollywood Sanders? Well, we'll get to that as the season gets closer, too.
Might be in a movie or something.
Could be.
That's what I had heard.
Coming to a theater near you.
And before I wrap it up, one last thing, because I can't let this go.
Oh, God. Is this what you were going to tell me before the show?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm curious to hear about this. Tell me. Since I waited about an hour for this.
This is Chuck and Wicked is our morning show on WSSP, and we have Gery Woelfel on the big show, actually, later today as this is being taped. And they called Gary and had him on their show this morning as well. So he was on, and I was listening to Mike Wickett talk about how young this Bucks basketball team is. What a great job that John Hammond's done. They can't totally rebuild, but they're young. Guys, and you're agreeing with them.
I did. I actually...
Jennings and Brandon Knight, it's a year difference? And then...
No. It's like 2 or 3.
No.
Brandon Knight is only 20 years old. Jennings is 23, I think. Yeah. Okay, keep
21.
going. No.
Either way.
Okay.
So that's the point guard position.
Right.
Sanders is still the same Sanders as last year.
Right. But he's a young guy, so you want...
No, but you didn't fix it. It's the same guy. My point is from an age perspective, it's the same guy you had last year. Ursan is the same guy you had last year.
Wait.
And now you add Butler. He's not young to the mix. And then O.J. Mayo. But you had J.J. Redick, too. Now, he's younger than J.J. Redick.
And he's younger than Monte Ellis.
He is.
So
I agree,
they got younger at point guard. They got younger at...
Hold on. You were talking about Monte or you were talking about Ursan being so young.
I didn't say Ursan was so young.
Yeah.
He's probably the old man on the team right now.
No, it's Butler.
In the starting lineup, I'm talking.
Caron Butler's the old man now.
Well, true.
Yeah. So Ursan and Monte Ellis, same age. So if we're going to consider Ursan being a young guy, then you have to have considered Monte being a young guy.
He's not a young guy. Ellis is like 29?
He's Ursan's age. They both came in the same year. The Bucks had an opportunity to take both of them. They both were 18 years old. Monte was coming out of high school.
Right.
Ursan was coming out of... They're the same age.
They're 28, I think, right?
What, 27?
Okay, 27. Like okay, but even at that, they got younger at point guard. They got younger at shooting guard. You can't get younger with Sanders because Sanders is part of your future, right?
And Sanders is there. Henson was on this team last year.
And Henson's going to get a lot more minutes this year.
Right now we're at the backup point guard position.
Yeah, who cares about backup? The guys that are going to get the bulk of the minutes are your young guys.
But I do not want to hear from you or from Mike Wickett, oh, they're so much younger this year. Here we go. Give them time. They're young. Stop. No, they're not that much younger than they were. It's the same thing. From an age, I bet you the average age on this team is older now than it was last year.
Oh, no way.
You add Rittenauer, you add Caron Butler.
Fine, you still had...
You had Dallenberg, Prisbilla, and Gooding.
Those are all three ancient guys.
Those are three guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to do that. Next time we do one of these videos...
Between now and December, we'll
like a month or something. I want to look it up.
That's why you were all upset.
Oh, because I don't want to hear... Gary, I'm telling you right now, on that post-game show, I don't want to hear people going, oh, they're so young. Stop.
They're not so...
Just stop. I don't want to hear the excuses of, oh, they're so young.
Who's their old guy? I mean, Caron Butler had to come in because they needed somebody, obviously, at that free spot. But they also had the Greek Freak, who's 18.
But he wasn't going to play to begin with. Regardless of what those guys tell you at the Cousins Center, John Hammond and those guys, oh, we're going to get him. Yeah, he may play in blowouts. Right. That's going to be about the extent. And I'm guessing he's going to end up in the D League before the season is over.
Okay, what about Middleton?
So
Middleton's, 22?
He's not going to play either.
He'll be the backup small forward.
You got Delfino at the back.
If Delfino's healthy. If he's not, that's going to be Middleton's
What is wrong with Carlos Delfino?
Broken book. This is a broken show. A broken bone in his right foot. He's recovering from surgery.
And when they signed him, they knew he had the surgery.
I think so, but they were under the assumption, like most of the people around the league, that he would be ready by the beginning of the season. And he still might be, but I tend to doubt it at this point.
Bucks basketball. He's Gery Woelfel. I'm Steve Sparky Fifer. Thanks for listening to and watching another great edition of the Sports Junkies. For the Pumpkin, I'm Sparky. Enjoy the rest of your day.
How do you respond to that?
Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.